From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your MTN Statewide News this Thursday. I'm Janelle Slade. Well, state health officials announced 2 more COVID-related deaths today, both in Yellowstone County. One, an 80-year-old man, the other, a 30-year-old woman. Well, so far, Yellowstone County has lost 56 people to COVID-related illness of the 143 across the state. The next largest number, 21 deaths in Bighorn County. Now, the state also reports another 217 active cases today, the new single-day record. Yellowstone and Rosebud counties with the most active cases, followed by Bighorn County. Of the largest counties, Gallatin County reports just 47 active cases. And according to the governor's new COVID education map, 41 of those people are students at Montana State University in Bozeman. Most active cases of any school in Montana. The next, Montana Tech, with 33 students and 1 faculty member. In Butte, Montana Tech Chancellor yesterday warning students to stop gathering in large social groups or parties off campus. And across the state, there are 96 active university cases, 31 high school, 30 elementary, and 7 middle school students reported. And down in Wyoming yesterday, the state set a one-day total of 128 new cases. According to the Wyoming Department of Health, the number of confirmed cases rose by a daily record of 104, while the probable case number increased by 24. The previous single-day high came in August with 67 confirmed cases. The state's 10-day average sits at just over 53 per day, which is also a record. Wyoming now sits at over 4,500 total cases with 46 deaths. Well, health experts are now warning the public about the possibility of a twin-demic. Now, this means a bad flu season combined with COVID-19. Officials are urging everyone to help by getting a flu vaccine this fall. The flu vaccine covers 4 strains and will either protect a person entirely or reduce chances of contracting severe or serious influenza. Some experts believe that the 2020 flu season won't be as severe due to social distancing measures already in place. Well, with people spending more time at home and distancing themselves from others, it could lead to drawing spouses or partners closer. MTN News spoke with a midwife on her experiences with baby booms and asked if this pandemic could lead to a quarantine baby boom 9 months from now.
Historically, it could go either way. We've had lots of natural disasters that caused a baby boom. Just because in times of stress, people come together, they need more emotional support, they need more physical contact. But also people consider financial stress. So if they've lost their jobs, sometimes people think maybe they don't necessarily want to add another person into the family.
And Belzer says there isn't any scientific explanation that points to either. Well, the Lone Star fire in Yellowstone National Park has grown by about 500 acres. Park Service crews say the fire jumped from about 3,300 acres to more than 3,900, due mostly to spot fires, creeping, and smoldering. The Grand Loop Road near Old Faithful to West Thumb remains open, but the park warns it could close at any time if the fire gets too close or if there's too much smoke. Firefighters are explaining why they believe a lightning strike caused the Bridger Foothills fire northeast of Bozeman. They tell MTN that lightning created a heat source which smoldered for a week or more until vegetation dried out and winds aligned just right. Now, Forest Service officials say campers can see the same thing happen when a fire they think is out begins to smoke and grow warmer hours later. Officials say small changes in humidity and temperature can be enough to ignite just a few embers. On the weather scene, we've had quite a few changes in the last couple hours, Rob Griggs, and we are looking at even more smoke in our skies.
We are. We have air quality warnings now all over the state, save the northeastern corner. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but obviously the smoke is a real problem for us. Do we have any relief long term? Well, right now the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook shows, unfortunately, warmer than average temperatures across most of the United States. The south and the southeast are going to catch a break as it'll be a little bit cooler than average. And bad news on top of bad news, really no significant moisture expected. It'll be slightly wetter out toward coastal Washington and Oregon, which is good news for them, but it's going to be drier than average across most of the rest of the continental United States, and that of course would include most of Montana and Wyoming. We'll get to the specifics about that air quality warning and the forecast in just a little bit. Janelle?
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, Montana Republican Senator Steve Daines, along with California Senator Dianne Feinstein, announced the Emergency Wildfire and Public Safety Act of 2020. Now, that bill would create a $100 million grant program to pay businesses to remove dead and dying trees and would help speed up environmental reviews so officials have a better understanding of how a devastating fire would impact any given area. A 19-year-old woman from Billings is a helicopter pilot who this year joined the fight against wildfires in California. Here's CBS's Nora O'Donnell with her story.
Ashley Blaine is just a teenager, but she flies one of the largest helicopters, the nearly 50,000-pound CH-47 Chinook.
You could say it's the family trade. My dad's been flying fires for close to 30 years now. As soon as I got into flying, I knew that was going to be one of my end goals, was to get into firefighting.
Flying as her dad's co-pilot, Ashley makes sure the water they're carrying hits its target.
You have to be able to lean out the window, basically, and look at a water bucket underneath you and guide it where you want to go.
What is one of the biggest challenges flying a Chinook while trying to fight a fire?
Sometimes we can be flying in very adverse conditions, thick smoke or just lots of other aircraft working around us that we have to be cognizant of.
But for a young woman who's been flying since she was 13, it's a dream summer job.
I love what I do, especially getting to fly with my dad. That's one of the best parts.
Other than flying, what's the most important lesson you've learned from your father?
Oh, how to be a good person. He's a very compassionate and empathetic person, and he does his best to help out our local community and his friends. And that's something I really admire about him, is his willingness to help other people. And I think that's hopefully a trait that I can pick up from him and learn from him.
Nora O'Donnell, CBS News.
That entire Blaine family giving back to its Montana community on a constant basis. Well, Sally is threatening to flood more states. Rain pounded Alabama and Florida yesterday, leaving at least one person dead. Now that rain is heading for Georgia and the Carolinas. Sally has been downgraded from a hurricane to a tropical depression, but its slow pace is what's making it dangerous. The National Hurricane Center expects the storm to cross over Georgia throughout the day and hit South Carolina by night. Well, the race to become Montana's next governor is tightening, at least from a fundraising perspective. Democrat Mike Cooney raised $670,000 in the past month alone, pushing his campaign total to $2.5 million. Republican Greg Gianforte is still in front, though. He's raised $2.8 million so far. Montana's governor contest is considered the most competitive governor race in the nation. Recent polls have shown Gianforte with a single-digit lead. Well, there are only a few more days for businesses to apply for the Montana Working Capital Program. The program is a loan for Montana businesses that have lost more than 15% of their gross revenue as a result of the coronavirus. Business owners can use the money for payroll, employee benefits, lease or rent, inventory, utilities, and insurance. Up next on your noon news, we sail the ocean blue for a historic look back at the Mayflower and how it is once again a modern-day marvel. But first, Rob's in next with your statewide weather forecast.
With Rob Griggs.
Well, we're off to a smoky afternoon, and it really doesn't matter where you go in Montana or Wyoming, unless, of course, you're up here toward the north and a couple of communities out here in the northeast. Otherwise, the air is either unhealthy or it's moving right toward hazardous, and we have bad air quality pretty much in every direction, and it's probably not going to be changing too much in the near future. As a matter of fact, within the last couple of hours, air quality warnings now have been posted across most of southern, central, and western Montana. The only area unaffected for the time being is north central and northeastern Montana, where there still is haze and smoke. It's just that it's either moderate to unhealthy in all of these locations. And of course, you can see that also extends into Wyoming. The pink that you see on the board, red flag fire warnings, those will take effect tomorrow. So tomorrow could be kind of a dicey day, not just for the smoke in the air and the air quality, but also for our firefighters and fire concerns for dangerous wildfires to be started or exacerbated. Some of those are already burning out there. Right now, temperatures aren't too impressive. We're into the 60s. A lot of this heat has been quelled because of the smoke, so the sun really isn't warming things up very much. Interestingly, if we didn't have the smoke cover, it would be quite a bit warmer right now because the skies are clear. We would have a beautiful blue sky day across the state. Sadly, we're in cahoots with everybody else across the Northwest. Everybody's under a blanket of smoke right now. Winds are light and variable, and of course, they don't have much ability to be able to move the smoke around significantly because there is so much smoke caping. You can see where the light smoke cover is across northeast Montana and into North Dakota, but there's a pretty good moderate to heavy smoke coverage across the rest of the region. That really is the big story for us, unfortunately, these days. As we see the smoke and haze stick around for at least another day, again, that air quality warning in effect till 9 a.m. tomorrow, so smoke and haze will be a common factor for us. It is very dry. We're going to see red flag fire warnings start to ignite around the area in the next 24 hours or so, especially for Friday through Friday afternoon, Friday night. Also, fire weather watches will begin to take effect across portions of southwest Montana and portions of Wyoming. We do have a bit of good news. Hopefully it will play out that way. A low pressure system with an approaching cold front will bring not only some cooler temperatures, especially across the plains, but we'll also see a chance for some showers. The downside with some of those rain showers, we could also see some gusty winds at times, and we could also see some thunderstorms, which of course would bring lightning, and that's the very thing that we really don't need right now, but we're just reporting it as we get it. Unfortunately, the air quality poor for the rest of the day and into tomorrow morning. All the way across this region, we're looking for highs today no more than the 70s or the 80s. And as we move in toward tonight, again, no real chance for any showers. We're just going to see more of that smoke and that haze in the area. We drop down to the 40s and the 50s, maybe even 32 degrees there for our friends in West Yellowstone. Let's take a look at our extended forecasts. For Kalispell and Missoula, smoke will be the common denominator. We do have a chance for some showers on Saturday and diminishing on Sunday with slightly cooler temperatures over the weekend. Great Falls and Helena, lots of sunshine, just can't see it because of the smoke. We'll drop down to 68 in Great Falls on Saturday, down to 60 over in Helena. Bozeman and Butte, there again, chance for some thunderstorms coming up on Saturday, maybe some rain showers over there for Butte, and 57 degrees for a high. Glendive and Billings, again, warmer temperatures tomorrow, but with the smoke and the haze, we'll just have to wait and see. Chance for some showers moving in, especially over toward Billings over the weekend. Janelle?
All right, thanks, Rob. Well, 400 years ago this week, the Mayflower set sail from England toward the New World. Now a new Mayflower is marking that anniversary with a new mission. CBS's Ian Lee reports.
It's a journey remembering the past with hopes of discovery for the future.
400 years ago, having already endured great trial and tribulation.
The original Mayflower set sail in 1620 with pilgrims fleeing religious persecution. 4 centuries later, from the same harbor in Plymouth, England, a new Mayflower will undertake the journey with a different mission. While both ships harness renewable energy, the original wind and this one solar, the comparisons stop there.
It's a project of tremendous sophistication and innovation. This ship is powered by the most cutting-edge artificial intelligence ever known.
A robot trained by IBM will captain the ship along its nearly 3,000-mile journey. The vessel will collect data on water temperature and sample for microplastics. It'll also measure the heights of the sea surface and depths of the ocean, while special instruments listen for whale songs.
We'll learn a tremendous amount, not just about the ocean and the climate, which is what this boat will do, is gather data, but how reliable systems are like this that don't depend on personnel on board.
When the ship eventually pulls into Plymouth, Massachusetts, researchers hope it'll be the dawn of another age of discovery. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
And the Mayflower is expected to set sail next spring and take 2 weeks to complete the crossing. The 1620 journey, well, that took the original Mayflower 2 months. Well, there's another anniversary today dating back to September 17th, 1787. It's Constitution Day. Our founding fathers signed the most influential document in American history in Philadelphia, designed to protect our rights as Americans. Since its creation some 200 years ago, more than 100 countries around the world have used it as a model for their own. Well, your latest Ag News is next with Lane Nordland. Stay with us.
Ranch Report from the Montana Ag Network.
Welcome back for today's Farm and Ranch News. And the 7th annual Montana Youth Sale and 95th annual Montana Ram Sale was held here in Miles City, Montana. And producers from across Montana and the region were in town buying some of the best quality genetics that the industry can provide. And joining us here today is President of the Montana Wool Growers Association, Mr. Kim McCamey. And Ken, I tell you what, 95 years of the Montana Ram Sale. Why do people keep coming back year after year to this event?
Oh, this is a great sale, and we like you say, we get people from all over the United States and Canada, and of course we have the best performance records here of anywhere in the United States. So yeah, it's just a tremendous place to come and buy rams and ewes as well. So.
Well, this summer we haven't seen the greatest prices in the lamb market, but I tell you what, we've seen a little bit of a turnaround as we move into September. It's a little bit of confidence for producers here this fall.
Yeah, it's picked up a little bit here. This last sale in Billings was probably 10 cents higher or better, so yeah, we're encouraged by that. But, we're a long ways from where we need to be right now, but yeah.
Well, Ken Hayes, stay with us, and for our friends at home, we'll continue to talk about all of these issues that have impacted the U.S. sheep industry during COVID-19. Don't go too far, friends. We'll be back from Miles City right after this. McCamey, president of the Montana Wool Growers Association. The 7th annual ewe sale and 95th Montana Ram Sale was held here in Miles City, but COVID-19 created a whole host of issues for the U.S. sheep industry, from lamb prices to wool issues. Ken, as a producer yourself, let's talk about how COVID-19 impacted the industry and how things are looking as we move closer into the fall.
Yeah, it really affected the prices for sheep, for lambs, and also for ewes as well. We really couldn't do anything about it. We lost the market from the East Coast and the West Coast, who were the restaurant trade, and so it pretty much shut things down for us. I mean, prices for lambs were upwards of 50 cents less than normal, so yeah.
And another issue was the Coronavirus Food Assistance Program. That first initial language that came out didn't include all classes of sheep, but the work of the Montana Wool Growers and the American Sheep Industry Association, we got to see the sheep industry well represented in CFAP Phase 1.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and we in Montana had worked hard on that, and also through ASI. So yeah, we were able to get the ewes put on the CFAP program, and it did some help for the producers.
Well, hey, Ken, I just want to thank you and all the sheep industry leaders that gathered here in Miles City and continue to work on the issues, whether it's COVID-19 or trade or whatever it might be. We thank you for your work. And, of course, for our friends at home, that Coronavirus Food Assistance Program, Round 2, it's still expected to come out this week. USDA Secretary Sonny Perdue expected to make that announcement here this week. Reporting from Miles City, I'm Lane Nordlund. Have a great day, friends.
All right, thanks so much, Lane and Rob, here with one more look at our smoke.
Yeah, boy, it's all over the place, too. Air quality has just fallen right through the floor. And sadly, this is going to be with us at least through Friday morning around 9 a.m., 10 a.m. You can see all across Montana, save the north central and northeastern corner of the state. Most of Wyoming, all under this air quality warning. It's either moderate to unhealthy, and that's just not good. So once again, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, if you don't need to be outside, try to refrain from breathing in that air. Folks especially who suffer with respiratory issues, sinuses, eyes, and all that, it's just going to be one of those days. That said, that smoke will keep the temperatures down into the 70s. We might see 80 degrees here and there. A little bit of a warmer day tomorrow. Probably some smoke and haze in the area, too.
All right. Thanks so much, Rob. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.